In this video, I'm going to show you how you can extend your photos using generative fill inside of Adobe Photoshop 2024. Before we do though, I just want to say that this video is sponsored by Motion Elements. More about them later on. So this is the image that we have, and this is a perfectly good image, but let's say we wanted to make this a banner. We've got multiple different options, so we could just do a crop. So if we go into image, we can change the image or the canvas size. So if we go canvas size and we make the height 2000 as opposed to what it was before, you can see we've got this crop, and this is how this is going to work. However, the problem is by doing that is we lose all of the information above and all of the information below. So instead, let's generate some fake artificial background on the left and the right to give us this banner. So to do that, we are going to change the canvas size. So we're going to go to image, canvas size, and we're going to change the width. So let's go for 8000. So 8000 pixels, and the height is going to be 4000 pixels. We'll press OK. And as you can see, we have now extended this. So we've got the left and the right side of the frame to fill in. So in order to fill this in, we are just going to go to the left of Photoshop, select the rectangular marquee or just the rectangle tool. And we're just going to draw a mask around the left of the frame. And if we select generative fill, we can type a prompt. So fill in image or add a wall or add a prompt of some sort. Or if you just leave it blank and press generate, Adobe Photoshop is going to analyze the image, figure out what it's supposed to do, and give you a few different examples. It will give you 3 different options to choose from. And as you can see, option 1 did nothing, option 2 did nothing, but option 3 did a pretty good job at that. If it hasn't worked for you though, then you can go back into generate, or you could actually add in a prompt. So add a black wall, add a colored pattern, extend the computer, add a prompt in, and it will add that in for you. So now that we've done the left, we can move on to the right. So if we select the background layer, then we go back to the rectangle tool, draw a mask around the right of the frame. And again, we're just going to do the same thing. So generative fill, select generate without the prompt there. We're just going to leave it open to interpretation for Photoshop. There you go. So you can see it's actually generated all of this content over here. And again, we've got the 3 different options. So these are all pretty decent options now. Number 3, I think looks a bit weird. Number 2 is possible, that could work, or we could go to number 1. And I feel like number 1 is probably going to be our best option here. Now, of course, if you're not happy, again, you can go into generate or add a prompt and try this again. Or alternatively, we can just use this as a base and just keep building from here. And that's the option I'm going to do. So I feel like this is enough. It doesn't grab the attention away from the center of the frame. So I'm just going to highlight all of those, right click, and we'll select convert to smart object. And this is just going to turn it into one image. Now, if you wanted this to be even wider, then we can just do the same process again. So if we go to image, go to canvas size, we'll make the width 10,000 this time. Press OK. And again, we've got the left and the right. So all we would need to do is just select the background layer, go back to the rectangle tool, and just repeat the same process over and over again until we've got to our desired width. Before we carry on with this video, let me please first just tell you about Motion Elements. Motion Elements are an amazing online platform for stock video, Adobe Premiere and After Effects templates, Notion templates, and so much more. And the great thing is I have teamed up with Motion Elements. They are the channel sponsor, and because of that, they are going to give you a really great discount on your first month of your subscription with them. So use the code in the description below to get yourself some big savings. So if you want to save time and create better videos, then consider checking out Motion Elements. Now, if this is a little bit too distracting for you, then you could always just go back in and you could do some cleanup work. So we can highlight this and you can put remove this. So maybe this is too distracting for you. So generative fill, let's go for remove. And as you can see, that's done a really good job at cleaning that up. All 3 options look great. I'm probably going to pick number 1, I reckon, in this example. So this was before and this is after, so it's a little less distracting. Now you can keep going through this process. As you can see, I've got all of these, it looks like cables, but it's actually the top of a backpack. It's the zip of an orange backpack. And because it's been recreated over and over again, it does look like a cable. And I feel like generative fill thought this was a cable, so it's kind of accentuated this and made it look more like a cable. But we can just select the generative fill background layer, highlight all of this mess down here. And same thing again, gen fill, remove. Press generate, and that should clean up the image really well. Now, it's worth noting that generative fill is a recent update to Photoshop. So if you've got Photoshop 22, 21, 20, you're not going to see this. So if you want to go through this process, then I would recommend going to your Creative Cloud and updating to one of the latest versions. As you can see, it's done a brilliant job at removing all of that clutter. I think I'm going to go for number 3 or number 1. I think number 1 probably is going to be our best option here. So you can see this was before the cleanup and then after the cleanup. It's just cleaned that up really well. So our image actually only started here, and Gen Fill has filled in the left and the right. So now I can use this as a banner for maybe my YouTube channel, or I could use this as a banner on a website, but it's basically converted a normal image and made it wider. If you've got a really simple side of the frame, so as you can see, this side just dipped into shadow, so it was dark. It was really easy to make this side wider. There were a lot more complications here. There's a big shelving unit with loads of camera equipment on it, and it's had to generate this and figure out what could be on the shelf. So this might take a little bit more time getting that perfect, but if you persist with it and you go iteration, making small changes, I honestly believe you can get to a really powerful result. So you can take a cropped image and make it much wider and turn it into a banner, which I think is a really powerful tool to have. So thank you ever so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate your support. And if you did find this video useful, then please consider pressing the subscribe button, because that really does help this channel to grow. Thank you very much, and I'll see you on the next one.